Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news show. And we're coming live to you from a completely different location. I'm currently on holiday, so I don't know what the connection's going to be like over here, so do bear with me if the connection drops during the stream. But there's lots to talk about, and I have to say, it for once in the transfer window, it is feeling quite good to be a Manchester United fan because things are looking positive. Things are looking very much on the up for Manchester United. So what are we going to talk about in today's show? Well, Jonny Evans has been given a new deal. That has just been announced. Zirkzee medical is done. An announcement is pending. Apparently, there's some talk of the Zirkzee official announcement being at 6 p.m. Not 100% sure if that is the case. Leny Yoro, bit of a boost with Leny Yoro because Real Madrid have already named alternatives to Leny Yoro and apparently are looking at a potential alternative to Leny Yoro, which could suggest that Real Madrid have some doubt in the Leny Yoro deal, and there's some advancements on that. We knew yesterday that Leny Yoro hadn't made a decision between Manchester United and Real Madrid, and he was still thinking about it and seriously considering United. What is going on with Madrid? We've got more news on Zirkzee, the plan for Zirkzee. De Ligt could be the next signing. What is the defender plan? There's also news on Braithwaite. Obviously, a Euro, we're going to sign 3 centre-backs. Casemiro to Saudi, set to advance as well, and more. So yeah, guys, just let me know how the video and audio does throughout the stream. Obviously, different Wi-Fi, on holiday, all of that kind of stuff. And obviously, update on Desiree Doué. There's a bid gone in for Desiree Doué, but not from United. What wingers are United looking at? What's the latest on Sancho, Greenwood, and more? Lots to get into in today's show, but please do hit that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. And let's dive into the stories. Big up everybody in the chat. Big up Jonny Evans. Big up David and everyone tuning in as well. And Evans was surprisingly solid for us last time and has a top CBA mentality. I don't mind keeping Evans around for depth. Signing 2 centre-backs and keeping Evans around for depth, absolutely happy with. Signing 1 centre-back and then keeping Evans around for another year because you only get 1 centre-back in, that is Glazer. But I think we are going to bring in 2, potentially 3 centre-backs. And that is what we're going to talk about in today's show. So, Jonny Evans, 1 more year at Manchester United. That has been officially announced by the club. And you know what? When we brought Jonny Evans in last year, I was like, this is a joke. You know, we've gone from Kim Min-jae to Jonny Evans. And I liked Jonny Evans. And I said, look, Jonny Evans, great professional, good player, can do a job. But when we were going from Kim Min-jae to Jonny Evans, I was like, the Glazers, how can you be wanting Kim Min-jae and you've brought in Jonny Evans on a free? But he really impressed me last season. He did a really good job. And I was never mad at Jonny Evans. I never had an issue with Jonny Evans coming to United. Had we got Kim Min-jae and then brought Jonny Evans in, fine. It was just the fact that we wanted Kim Min-jae and they're like, here, go and have Jonny Evans. But he was surprisingly good when he played. But I think more importantly, it was his leadership and his mentality. As Alex mentioned, the CV, the mentality. He's won trophies before. He knows how to win. He's a great character to have in the dressing room, particularly with a young, impressionable squad coming through at United. He's a very good character to have in the dressing room to potentially influence the Man United players around him. And even better if Evans stays because it could allow Maguire and Lindelof to go. Yes, Man United do ideally want to offload Maguire and Lindelof, both of them, and replace them with probably Braithwaite, Euro, and De Ligt as well. Bayern are crazy. Why don't they do how many wings they have? Do you know what? I'm fuming. Bayern have stole Elise, my number 1 target. And now they might be signing Doué, my number 2 target on the wing. Evans' great mentality will help the young players and would be good for the squad. Yeah, I think the thing about Evans is he'll probably stay on at United and become a coach, but I think he'll be that guy that won't play a lot, but he's someone you want in the dressing room. I think it's that mentality they want there as well. So I have no issue with Evans signing a new deal. He's not on high wages. He's a good player. He's there to be a bench player. He knows his role, but he can be a good impression on the younger players. Now let's get into the Joshua Zirkzee news. And my mouse is moving really slow. It's really annoying me. I'm trying to get through the news, but my mouse keeps freezing up. What's the latest on Zirkzee to United? So, Romano said this: Joshua Zirkzee deal now being confirmed by his agent Kia and company Sports Invest, all set for initial announcement. Deal was done and sealed. If you don't know, they basically hinted at it on Instagram stories that Zirkzee's to Man United's officially done. Zirkzee's done his medical and I believe he has signed his contract. We're just waiting for United to announce that, which believed could be at 6 p.m. tonight. If not, it'll be tomorrow, I believe. Now, it was also said by other sources that Zirkzee has passed his Manchester United medical. He's now a new United player. The announcement is soon. Maybe there could be an announcement at 5, maybe 7, maybe 8. There's a rumour of it being at 6. I don't know how true that is. And that Joshua Zirkzee deal is now confirmed by his agent. So Joshua Zirkzee officially United player, passed his medical. We've known that for a while, but Netherlands came out the Euros. The next day, here we go. The next day, medical. Done deal. Announcement probably tonight. Zirkzee goes on holiday for a week tomorrow, and then he potentially comes back for the latter preseason games. And I think it's an exciting time bringing Joshua Zirkzee in. I've always said very talented player in Joshua Zirkzee. I think he brings something different. He's a number 9 that is also a bit of a creator, and I think considering we created pretty much like the least amount of chances for Højlund of any striker in the league, if we signed another striker that relied on service to do well, he'd just be in the graveyard shift. Zirkzee's more of a creator, which could also create for Garnacho and Rashford and just improve the general play of the team. I did a video earlier today highlighting why I think Joshua Zirkzee is a great addition. So let's get into some more stories on Zirkzee. It was said that Zirkzee will sign his United contract today and go on holiday. Joshua Zirkzee hopes to get the number 9 at Manchester United. He's already undergoing his medical, and Man United could announce Zirkzee signings always. Yeah, I think Zirkzee might get the 9. Now Martial's left. Could go to Zirkzee. Højlund might want the 9. Maybe other people might want the 9. But I expect a new signing, number 9, quite a good number to have. Man United like to sell shirts. I assume Joshua Zirkzee could be given the number 9 shirt. Guys, let me know in the chat what shirt you would give. What shirt number do you want to see Joshua Zirkzee get? Daniel Hammer says maybe 5, maybe 7, maybe 8. But I heard it's 6 low. So anytime, yeah. There's a rumor that it's 6 on Twitter. There's a rumor going around that it's 6 on Twitter, but that is Twitter. It's not credible. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was 5 or 7 or tomorrow. That's what I'm basically trying to say as well. Despite how bad we looked last season, Rasmus scored 16 goals and did okay in his third season at United. I absolutely agree. What I liked about Rasmus Højlund is we brought him off the back of the 9-goal season as a 19, 20-year-old kid with a lack of experience, and he was meant to come in alongside an experienced striker. We didn't do that. Rasmus Højlund got more goals and assists in the Premier League than any player aged 21 or under. Rasmus Højlund topped the UCL group stage as a scorer. Rasmus Højlund got 16 goals for United side when he had injuries, missed a few games, and a United side that provided them no service at 20 years of age in his first season with little stability around him. Zirkzee isn't coming in because Rasmus Højlund isn't good enough. Man United believe in the Rasmus Højlund project. Man United believe there's a fantastic player and Rasmus Højlund. I think Man United are more than willing to invest in Rasmus Højlund and his future at the club. I think Man United believe that Rasmus Højlund is a brilliant player, a fantastic player, but they want Zirkzee to come in as a rotation option, but also he offers something completely different. 9, 7, 11. Zirkzee 11 works, but I think Højlund is number 11, isn't he? I think Zirkzee will probably get number 9 shirt as well. It looks like he will get the number 9 shirt as well. Wi-Fi better than normal. To be honest, my Wi-Fi is just the worst. I changed Wi-Fi providers like 4 times, and it is, yeah. I know I speak quickly. That's the one thing I've got to work on. I do speak quickly. Real Madrid cannot afford Euro due to FFP inclinations. He'll be a United player, in my opinion. Big up Alice. Big up Mick in the chat as well. We are going to talk about the Leny Yoro news because there is some positive developments on Leny Yoro to United, and basically Real Madrid can't get Leny Yoro unless they sell because of FFP, and Real Madrid are looking at Leny Yoro alternatives. Now Lille are basically pushing Leny Yoro to join United. A couple of people in and around are pushing Leny Yoro to join United, and we knew yesterday that Leny Yoro hadn't made a decision between Man United and Real Madrid, and that Leny Yoro was seriously considering Manchester United, and he was seriously considering that move. He's being pushed towards United and knows United are more willing to get him. Now Real Madrid are looking at a potential centre-back target as an alternative to Leny Yoro, which could be a consideration and could be a hint that, that's false. Madrid do not need to sell anyone. Madrid, I'm not saying they have to sell someone, but I'm saying that they are probably getting a bit tight with FFP if they want to bring in Alphonso Davies, Mbappe, Endrick, and Leny Yoro on top of that as well, is what I'm trying to say as well. But there could be some advancements on Leny Yoro. And it was said today, if Real Madrid can't sign Leny Yoro, then Lazio's Mario Aguilar is the first option on the list. Now, it had been advanced and said that basically Real Madrid are considering a couple of other options if they can't get Leny Yoro. Real Madrid have now got alternatives to Leny Yoro on their list in case they don't get him, and that while Real Madrid are going to act like they're really confident they can get Leny Yoro and have reached out to Leny Yoro's camp to try and get him to wait, Real Madrid, those inside Real Madrid, according to Spanish sources that have connections to Real Madrid, say that there's a bit of doubt, and Real Madrid are looking at other alternatives in case Leny Yoro chooses United, because Leny Yoro's told Real Madrid he hasn't decided if he's going to go to United yet. Real Madrid have basically said to Leny Yoro, you've got this United offer, are you going to accept it? And Leny Yoro said, I don't know, I'm thinking about it. So Real Madrid are like, okay, he's actually seriously considering this Man United offer. He's quote tweeted stuff about people faking that he doesn't want to go to United. He's quote tweeted that to say that is fake, and he's never said he doesn't want to go to United. Basically, he's basically thinking about the offer, seriously considering the offer, hasn't turned it down. He's been pushed in Lille to go to United, and Real Madrid are now looking at alternatives. And it is said that maybe expect some big developments for Leny Yoro as well. Although it's, again, I've always felt that Leny Yoro is Real Madrid bound. I've always felt that we'll probably see Leny Yoro in a Real Madrid shirt next season, but it is interesting as well. Nubis says the signing Yoro is a risky move. Imagine United facing the same issue as Lille 4 or 5 years from now. I feel like Demonde's a safer bet. I can understand that. I do think I love the idea of Leny Yoro and Branthwaite. I think they're fantastic players with fantastic potential. But I think if you sign both of them and they're not both ready-made yet, it's a risk. But I think if we sign one experienced centre-back and a Leny Yoro alongside him, it would be brilliant. Alex said it's hard to hijack any deal with Real Madrid. Their pool is like no other, and you're absolutely correct. It will be difficult. It was said that Manchester United and Real Madrid battle for Leny Yoro. Important update. From Fabrizio about the current situation. He's saying that it's going to be a battle between Man United and Real Madrid, and it's being said by reliable sources that don't rule United out of it. United wouldn't have made a bid for Leny Yoro if they didn't think they could get Leny Yoro. Real Madrid are now looking at alternative options to Leny Yoro just in case. Man United made a bid for Leny Yoro because they know there's a chance. Man United had positive conversations with Leny Yoro's agent the last week. Lille was pushing for the move. Leny Yoro is still making a decision, and Man United are battling Real Madrid hard for Leny Yoro is what is being reported as well. It was also said that Manchester United are not ready to give up on Leny Yoro despite his preference being Real Madrid. Lille would prefer Yoro to move to United as they've met the 42 million asking price, whereas Real Madrid are yet to match the offer. Man United will turn their attention to revamping the defensive options with as many centre-back targets as possible. So the other update on Leny Yoro was that, again, he's being pushed towards joining United, and Sky Sports said that Manchester United are working simultaneously on three centre-back deals, De Ligt, Yoro and Branthwaite. De Ligt remains a strong option and talks have been positive. Bayern are discussing whether to try again with Bayern. United are trying to discuss. United are now trying to discuss whether to try again for Branthwaite, having 2 bids rejected, and United are not ready to give up on Leny Yoro despite his preference being Real Madrid, and potentially some positive signs about Leny Yoro. Look, I'm surprised we were never linked to Diamonde. Diamonde is literally, like, if you look at Diamonde's stats, it's a very similar profile of player to Matthijs de Ligt, but he's 4 years younger with a better injury record, and apparently he's about £45 million. So I'm surprised we never looked at Diamonde. I think he'll go to a big club as well. What do you mean he's going on holiday? Why won't he come on pre-season with us? Because he played in the Euro, Zirkzee. I know he didn't play much, but he's not had a holiday because he went to the Euro, so that's why Zirkzee will be given a holiday as well. I doubt Ra is an FFP travel. They haven't gone Galactica route as much, been building around young talents, which is true, but I think the Mbappe agent fee is going to be crazy as well. Alice, notice how all 3 managers have experience bringing up youth. I think the reason why United are going for young players is because the coaches at the club are great. Yeah, when you look at, Ruud van Nistelrooy as well at PSV, Ruud van Nistelrooy is now the assistant coach. Ruud van Nistelrooy came second with PSV, and 60% of the minutes for that PSV side were played by players aged 24 under. Ruud van Nistelrooy, you saw, put faith in a 20-year-old Jared Branthwaite, and he had his first proper season of football. He had basically no experience, Branthwaite, and Ruud van Nistelrooy said, you're going to be playing for one of the best teams in the Eredivisie, and put his faith in him. Xavi Simons, Xavi Simons' loan at PSV is what made him. Xavi Simons was a kid that had so much hype, but was he going to be one of those kids that got hyped and never really lived up to the standard? He went to PSV and he became top goal scorer under Ruud van Nistelrooy. And obviously, we said in my video last night that there's news about Man United making an approach for Xavi Simons coming out. And there's a story coming out actually about at the moment that Man United are potentially looking to advance on Xavi Simons, and that Man United and Xavi Simons could heat up a lot lately. And maybe with Van Nistelrooy coming in, there could be a chance of a Xavi Simons deal. We've obviously had lots of talks with PSG lately that has been surrounding the Ugarte deal. So maybe Xavi Simons is one to watch. I think he's going to go to Bayern Munich. I still think but then if Bayern Munich are getting Doue and Elise, that probably means they're not getting Simons. Vivel worked at the RB clubs. He's pushing for United to get Simons. United were in pole position to get Xavi Simons last summer, said Fabrizio Romano, if he had left PSG. United are seriously considering Xavi Simons, have had lots of contact with PSG. So potentially we get Xavi Simons in as another youngster with his relationship with Ruud van Nistelrooy and Vivel as well. I generally think, Desiree Doué, we're going to talk about that because there's advancements on him and Bayern Munich. If Bayern get Desiree Doué, because Bayern were the favourites to land Xavi Simons because he wanted to stay in the Bundesliga, I think we could seriously get Xavi Simons with the Ruud van Nistelrooy connections, the Vivel connections, the fact that Romano said out his own mouth that United were leading the race to sign Xavi Simons last summer, but he obviously didn't leave PSG, he went on loan. So I do think that is interesting as well. We've obviously had discussions with PSG about loaning Ugarte, but maybe we buy Ugarte and loan out, obviously, Xavi Simons. I do think that's one to go for it as well. Alice, is it true that Ruud van Nistelrooy is pushing for a Xavi bid? I'm not sure. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy, Ten Hag will have the say and Ineos will have the say, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vivel and Ruud van Nistelrooy are bigging up Xavi Simons to those at United because they'd worked with him and he was very good before as well. Doué to Bayern, Simons to United, it could be. But Desiree Doué to Bayern, it could be Simons to United. I will get more into the Desiree Doué news in a second. Simons looks like a real baller. A bit odd PSG not integrating him in now. Absolutely. I'm surprised that PSG aren't more all over the Xavi Simons deal. Guys, we've got 135 likes. We've got 1,000 people watching. Let's go to... let's try and get to 500 likes. That would be absolutely amazing. I know that's asking for a lot, but I believe you guys can do it because you're always absolutely brilliant in the chat, so do hit that like button. So I'm just going to give you the rundown on De Ligt, because obviously there's links to Xavi Simons, Ugarte, Desiree Doué, Leny Yoro, but the likely chances if Man United's next signing is probably going to be Matthijs de Ligt. If I had to put money on who I think Man United's next signing will be, I think it will be de Ligt. There is rumours of this advancing quite quickly. Now, it was said on Matthijs de Ligt to Man United from Fabrizio Romano that we expect Matthijs de Ligt to be the next signing for Manchester United. It was said as well from Sky. It was said as well on de Ligt. The 68,000 Bayern Munich fans have signed a petition to stop Matthijs de Ligt from leaving the club, and I've just realised I put the Casemiro notes in the de Ligt section because I'm an idiot and forgot to put the extra de Ligt notes in. But I put some Casemiro notes in that de Ligt section there, but it was also said on Matthijs de Ligt that Man United were advancing on that deal. It will probably be done potentially next week. It's expected to be the next Man United signing as well. Big up everybody in the chat as well. Madrid are comfortable with the possibility of making the signing. The timing also depends on Lille, who have admittedly accepted an offer from United despite the players' desire to sign for Real Madrid. Look, I think Leny Yoro will be a Real Madrid player, but I think the fact that he's still making a decision, he hasn't rejected United, and he's told Real Madrid he's thinking about the decision, and Real Madrid are thinking about alternatives, and that he quote tweeted, someone saying he didn't want to come to United, to say that that's not true. I do take that as positive signs. Now, one player that's expected to leave Manchester United, the very reliable Fabrizio Romano, has been saying for months that he expects Casemiro to leave United. He believes he'll be playing in Saudi. Fabrizio Romano then again said recently, look, Saudi clubs now know their budget. Saudi clubs are now entering the transfer market. Things are going to happen. And Romano is quite confidently believing that, Casemiro to Saudi is a strong possibility. What has been said on Casemiro to Saudi Arabia? It was said Saudi Pro League clubs are interested in Casemiro, still very strong as reported, said Romano. Romano is saying there's still strong interest in Casemiro from Saudi Pro League clubs. We know that Saudi Pro League clubs are now making moves. It was said that Al Ittihad have started discussions to sign Casemiro. We know that Casemiro's agent has had conversations with all the big agents in Saudi Arabia. It was said by Sky Sports that strong interest remains in Casemiro from clubs in Saudi Arabia. Contacts through intermediaries have been made to explore the conditions of a deal, but United are yet to receive a formal offer today, and that Man United returned to negotiations with Ugarte today as Casemiro is closer to staying in the Saudi Pro League. So I think this is some really interesting updates here on Casemiro to United. United are very much advancing on the Ugarte deal. They were looking to get Ugarte in on loan, and there could be a possibility of that happening. But Man United have the green light from Ugarte. Man United have had conversations with Ugarte. He's out Copa America now. We know that ideally we need two midfielders, Ugarte and someone that's more comfortable on the ball. But I think the fact that we're advancing for Ugarte and that Casemiro to Saudi is getting close, I think what they expect to happen, and you never know, we can report all this news and it might not happen because it's United, but Zirkzee is a Man United player. I think De Ligt will be a Man United player next week, and I think Casemiro will go to Saudi and Ugarte will come in to replace him. I think they will be three signings. I then think we'll land one of Yoro or Branthwaite. I then think we're going to go for Xavi Simons. I have a confident feeling we're going to go for Xavi Simons. I think Desiree Doué might be Bayern bound, but I think we could go for Xavi Simons. And then I think we go for a cheap left back at the end of the window. And I think those six players will be Man United's transfer window. That would be my guess. But I really do hope we sign two midfielders. If McTominay or Eriksen go, there's possibility of a second midfield signing. Wouldn't be shocked if it's Amrabat. But there's a really strong feeling from really credible sources that Casemiro to Saudi will go through, and it's expected to be done sort of end of July period. So maybe not for a week or two, but it's going to heat up soon. His agent is there having talks. Casemiro is open to Saudi. Man United told Casemiro, you can go. You're not in the long-term plan. And I think Casemiro's heart and head's been in Saudi for a while. There's been conversations ongoing for a while about wages, about all of that. He didn't have the best season with United. Didn't have the best ending with Ten Hag as well. Didn't seem good after the FA Cup. So, look, I like Casemiro. That first season, he was absolutely brilliant. The second season wasn't good enough. And I think when he's on 20 million a year and we can get reportedly 35 million for Casemiro, that would be interesting. And now Man United are holding out for 35 million pounds for Casemiro, 40 million euros. I don't think we'll get that much. Maybe we get that much, including add-ons. I think anything above 30 million for Casemiro, for me, is 50 million because of the 20 million a year he's saving wages. And I think 30 million for Casemiro, 20 million a year saved on wages. I think that is a positive. Like, I like Casemiro. I think his first season was brilliant, but his second season, his aging, he's not able to play the system and cover the ground that Ten Hag wants in his players now. I think it does make sense for United to look to potentially move on Casemiro as well. Alex B says Casemiro surely goes. He seems disinterested end of last season. Yeah, well, I like Casemiro. I've never doubted his mentality, and I still won't. I know that Ten Hag got annoyed at Casemiro and Varane because they suggested that his training methods could be causing injuries, and they did things differently at Real Madrid. But I would never question Casemiro's mentality or anything like that. But I did think towards the end of the season, Casemiro wasn't there. He was drifting towards Saudi mentally. He just didn't have the best ending. And Amrabat benched him in the cup final, which he did not like. And, he didn't even join in the celebrations in the cup final. There was clearly something that went on between Ten Hag and Casemiro during that cup final. When is Antony's contract over so we can sell him? The problem, we're not going to sell Antony. Ineos want to sell Antony. Yes, they do. But we brought Antony 2 years ago for 85 million. Let's say we even get 25 million for Antony, which is incredibly unlikely. We'd still make a 60 million loss in PSR, which we can't afford to do this summer. We'd have to wait at least another year before that loss could look a little bit better. But also the fact that he's on 200k a week when he was on 20k a week at Ajax, because we gave him such ridiculous wages. Put him on 110k a week, take him to 20 to 100k a week, fine. But to 200k a week, that's ridiculous from Manchester United. But also, I believe he's still under investigation in Brazil. I don't know if that's true, but apparently, as far as I'm aware, he's still under investigation in Brazil, which means people don't want to take a risk on a player that, has legal trouble around him. So while I'd like Antony to be sold, one, we're not really going to get any money for him. I don't think anyone's going to pay 25 million. And if we did get 25 million, it's a bad loss in PSR. 2, he's on ridiculous wages, so it's going to be hard to sell him. 3, he's just not been good, so no one's really interested in him. And 4, there's that sort of potential court case as well. Mainoo is amazing. He is mustard. Kobbie Mainoo is fantastic. And Dan Ashworth's priorities to get Kobbie Mainoo a new contract. We will get into that story as well. Just loan Antony out to La Liga or something, I agree. People are saying get rid of Rashford, but I think now we've got Joshua Zirkzee and there's absolutely no point to sell Rashford. If you didn't get Joshua Zirkzee in and you brought Benjamin Sesko in, makes more sense to sell Rashford and get in a creative winger. But I don't think we should sell Rashford now Joshua Zirkzee's in. I think for me, that, if Rashford has a bad season next season playing with Joshua Zirkzee, then we can be talking about selling Rashford because that's 2 bad seasons in a row. But I think Rashford can score 30 goals because he did it in Ten Hag's first season. And if there's any player that's going to get 30-goal Rashford back, that's Joshua Zirkzee. Not many players that Man United could sign right now in budget can score 30 goals for us, and Rashford could potentially do that. So personally, I wouldn't sell Marcus Rashford. Now, I expect Ugarte to Man United to advance, as Casemiro to Saudi is set to advance as well. What's some other stories on potential ins that I would say take with a pinch of salt? I personally don't believe these stories, but I just want to get through them. When do you think we'll announce Zirkzee? Probably tonight or tomorrow. There's a rumour about it being 6 p.m. tonight, but it's coming on Twitter from no one credible. Juventus has offered Federico Chiesa to Manchester United, but Ten Hag is taking his time about the approach. It was then said that no Chiesa-Sancho swap exchange talks are going on between Juventus and United. The Italian winger proposed himself to United, but wasn't considered priority. Man United probably will propose the idea of signing Chiesa as in part of a deal for Sancho. We know Juventus wants Sancho, but as always said, United aren't interested in Chiesa. I don't think he's good enough, to be honest. I don't think he's that good of a player. I think there's better options out there. I know a lot. Chiesa, I can't say his name. But I've never been super convinced when I've watched him. I'm going to be honest. Like, he's a good player, 25 billion, decent price. If it's him or nobody, I'd go with him. But I would rather go for someone like Xavi Simons, Desiree Doué, Elise, even prefer Matthijs de Ligt of Juventus to him, Bakayoko of PSV, Nico Williams if he was on lower wages as well. Maybe Zirkzee level, but Rasmus may not be Zirkzee level, but Rasmus quite a good link up as well. Some making it like he's just a poacher all of a sudden. True. Yeah, let's not deny that. Rasmus Højlund is not Zirkzee when it comes to creativity and link up, but Rasmus Højlund's link up last season was quite good. Could have got a couple more assists. He generally played some good balls, and Rasmus Højlund, can influence the game. When he doesn't score, we've seen that before. He's a good player. It's just I think Joshua Zirkzee is just more of a Firmino-esque player, whereas Højlund is more of a Haaland-esque player as well. Another problem with Chiesa is obviously his injury record as well, which is another thing that we want to avoid as well. Chiesa, that's it. Chiesa. What? Do you know what? I watched the YouTuber call him Chiesa, and I keep wanting to call him Chiesa, but it's Chiesa. It's Chiesa. I don't get my pronunciation. He was a player that a few years ago I think a lot of us would have wanted, but he got that injury, and it was just like, nah. Will United go for Yamal? I mean, look, I'd love to get Lemon Yamal. He's a baller. Put him on the right wing, but don't think that's going to happen. Don't think he's going to leave Barcelona anytime soon. I don't think we've got the money for that because he beat Garnacho and not Zirkzee and Kobbie Mainoo to the Golden Boy Award. Let's dive into the next story. So a lot of you have been asking me, Alice, what is the latest on Desiree Doué? And well, this is what Fabrizio Romano has said in regards to Desiree Doué. And he said that Rennes have rejected Bayern's first proposal for Desiree Doué worth around €35 million package. So it was said that a deal for Desiree Doué could be done at £34 million, which is €40 million. So expect that could be done. Bayern Munich signing Elise and throat's gone. Bayern Munich signing Elise and Desiree Doué for potentially £90 million pounds combined to be their left and right wing options when they've already got Sane, they've already got Kane, who's not a wing, obviously. They've already got Coman, who can be a decent player. They've already got the attacking power they have. That hurts, man. That hurts, man. Just leave one for us. But if we can't get Desiree Doué, that could open up the door for Xavi Simons, who was set to be wanting to go to Bayern Munich and preference to be in the Bundesliga. There was always this feeling about Xavi Simons potentially going to Bayern Munich. Now, as I said, do I want Doué? Absolutely. But Man United have a serious interest in Xavi Simons. Man United have watched Xavi Simons. I don't know if you watched my video I did last night, my late night roundup I did last night, but I gave you the detail on Xavi Simons to United. Fabrizio Romano said last year that Man United were pole position to sign Xavi Simons. Like, Fabrizio Romano confirmed that, like, if Xavi Simons was going to leave PSG, he could have been going to Manchester United. And what I actually want to do is, I'm just going to get the slides up here, is let me get these old slides up. I think Xavi Simons is one to watch. I really do, because if we look at the story here, we look at the news that came in last night. You see this here. It says that Manchester United it said that Manchester United lined up a shot move for Xavi Simons as he faces a big decision over his future with United hot on the heels. Now, I don't know how reliable Tom Barkley is, but what we do know is that Vivel is now doing recruitment. He started work at United. He's very familiar with RB players, Xavi Simons having played at RB. It was said if Xavi Simons didn't return to PSG, Manchester United were in pole position to sign him. And that's what Romano said on the end of September 2023, that if Xavi Simons did not return to PSG, United were in pole position to sign him on a potential permanent last year. So the Man United scouts have been watching him last year. Ten Hag liked the player. Dutch, of course, Ten Hag likes the player, you can think. But I don't mind signing Dutch players if they're actually good. One thing about United as well is wing isn't necessarily a priority for their budget, and there's potential to get Xavi Simons in on loan. They also are approaching PSG about Ugarte on loan. So they've had genuine conversations with PSG about maybe doing this deal on loan or doing that deal on loan. Sorry, my throat is going a little bit there as well. So maybe there's potential they could be discussing a Xavi Simons on loan. But we generally had a big interest in the player, and Romano confirmed that last summer. And it had been said by Sky Sports this week as well that United are looking at Xavi Simons. So while Desiree Doué could be happening, Xavi Simons could advance. But yeah, look, maybe I'm being too optimistic about it. You're probably absolutely right as well. Chiesa. Do you know what? I'm just not. One thing about me is I'm not good at pronouncing names. The thing is, I'll know the name, but I'll have the old way I used to pronounce it when I didn't know the name stuck in my head. So I'll be pronouncing it wrong and then realizing I'm pronouncing it wrong. Like, you know, like Esteval, who signed for Chelsea. I do videos about him and I call him Estavio. I just call him Estavio because that's what I used to call him when I first watched him play. And then when I watched him a bit more and saw the commentators go Esteval, I knew it was Esteval. But in my head, the first thing I say is Estavio. Man City are signing some young player, apparently. Man City haven't done any big business, but I think FFP probably complicates that for City because people are a bit worried about it as well. Reguilon to Man United is definitely one to watch in August. I think Man United will make moves for left-back in August, if I'm going to be honest as well. But let's dive into the next story. Now, I'm going to be honest, and I've just realised I've got the wrong screen up there. Mason Greenwood, I think the journalists are just guessing. I think Mason Greenwood's probably going to go to Marseille, but because it hasn't been done yet, people are thinking, can we write stories about Mason Greenwood to Marseille falling through? La-di-da, la-di-da. I assume Mason Greenwood is going to go to Marseille, but now there's updates coming in that Mason Greenwood, probably won't go to Marseille, and that Mason Greenwood now could be going to Napoli, and yeah, like some pretty interesting stories coming in on Greenwood. So I'm going to get into these stories. Napoli are closing in on the signing of Mason Greenwood, apparently. And then was said by Di Marzio that Napoli have entered the race to sign Mason Greenwood. Lazio's track is fading away while an agreement with Olympique Marseille is still in place. The player took a few more days to decide. Marseille were close to completing a move for Greenwood in recent days and is still in control, but statements from the city's mayor put a damper on the deal. So there's been a feeling, could Greenwood be off? Napoli are now interested. However, Romano said this: Marseille already have Greenwood's green light for their project. They are hoping to receive the green light on the contract offer soon. They're saying Greenwood told Marseille he wants the move. He just needs to agree to the contract. And that Lazio apparently are continuing to work on a deal for Greenwood, but they are yet to match Marseille's offer. So one source is saying Lazio is off, Napoli are closer, and that Marseille could be off. Another source is saying, look, he's probably going to go to Marseille. They're just waiting. And another source is saying, oh, you know what? Actually, it's Lazio. I don't think people really know what's going on with Greenwood. I think there's 3 clubs interested in him. I think he's probably got 3 contract offers, and he's probably thinking, what one is best for me? Stalling the Marseille deal a bit, and I think the media's doing guesswork. I have a feeling Greenwood will be at Marseille next season, but I don't know as well. I'd go Syria over French League, but Marseille seems far along. I agree with you, but I think maybe knowing De Zerbi, him being English-speaking, former Premier League, could be why. Xavi as a loan move is good if there's an option to buy in the future. Exactly. For me, I think when you look at United's funds, Ugarte, Zirkzee, De Ligt, one of Yoro and Branthwaite, then you get Xavi Simons on loan because you can't afford to spend too much money on a winger. Then you get a cheap left back in. I think that's a good summer, but definitely need that second midfield signing. I don't want to go in with just Ugarte as the only midfield signing. It's a straight swap for Casemiro. I think we need one more signing, even if it's just bringing Amrabat back for depth. I think, the midfield will be too reliant on Mainoo and Bruno. Hopefully Mount will stay fit and provide what we signed him for, but definitely think we need 2 midfield signings as well. What is the next story? I want to talk about Man United's plans for the youth and Man United's plans going forward. I think this is quite interesting. And with Dan Ashworth coming in, he's someone that always likes to prioritise youth developments at the club he works with. Dan Ashworth is massive on youth. Jason Wilcox was a youth specialist at Man City, and we know that Man United has always been about youth. Now, Omar Brada is officially going to begin his role at Man United CEO tomorrow, and in my video later tonight, we'll be talking about what Omar Brada's first steps could be. Interestingly, we've been told recently that Ten Hag really rates Harry Amos and Toby Collier. They're the 2 young players he wants to get involved in pre-season, maybe be his next Garnacho, next Mainoo type players. Samuel Lucas is saying, because if you didn't watch my live show last night, Toby Collier signed a new deal with United, and we covered that in my live show last night. Samuel Lucas is saying that Erik Ten Hag insisted on attending Toby Collier's signing ceremony as he agreed a new contract with the club. Ten Hag really likes Collier, whose personality and professionalism has impressed staff at Manchester United. Dan Ashworth has made a new... So that's the first story. It was also said that United view him as a potential partner for Kobbie Mainoo. So we know that those inside United, particularly Ten Hag's a big fan of Toby Collier. One player that is Dan Ashworth's a big fan of is Kobbie Mainoo, where it's been said that Dan Ashworth has made a new contract extension for Kobbie Mainoo a priority. Ashworth is hoping to accelerate the discussions once the midfielder returns from the Euros. So United are pressing ahead with potentially big plans for their youth, which is exciting as well. Alice, you made a video about 2 years ago when we signed Toby Collier. You said he's one for the future. Is that future this season? I think so. I remember when we signed him. And I said, this is a good signing for United. This is a good move for United. I said he was a Brighton player, Brighton captain England, did my research on him, and I said United have struck gold with someone that's captain England throughout the youth ranks, proper top mentality. Someone is saying Fabrizio tweet. What has Fabrizio tweeted? What has Fabrizio tweeted here? Someone is saying Fabrizio tweet. Let me see. Am I being trolled? What is Fabrizio tweeted? Oh, Joshua Zirkzee has signed a 5-year deal plus new option as Man United player. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Joshua Zirkzee has signed a deal at Manchester United. Breaking news coming in as well. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, we knew that was coming. It's not really news, but it is news because we now know that the deal was signed. Now, Zirkzee is officially now a Man United player. He hasn't been announced yet, but now he's passed the medical and signed a deal. He is a Man United player. I mean, the club don't have to announce it, but that would be weird if they didn't. Zirkzee is now 100% officially a Manchester United player. He signed his 5-year deal. He's completed his medical. Bosh, boom. So there we go. That's the fab tweet coming in. But yeah, going back to what I was saying about Toby Collier, I did a video on him 2 years ago when we signed him. Ten Hag believes him and Harry Amos and potentially Shea Lacey, if he can stay fit, are probably the 3 that have got the most potential next season. Dan Ashworth is a big fan of youth and he's so impressed with what he's seen from Kobbie Mainoo. And obviously Dan Ashworth is going to continue to improve the youth ranks to have more Kobbie Mainoos coming through. Jason Wilcox, give credit to Nick Cox. And the one thing is, Ineos are changing the staff all around Man United. But one thing I've noticed is that Ineos haven't changed much of the youth academy staff, because even though Man United has been such a mess under Glazer's ownerships in the last 10 years, one thing that hasn't been a mess is the academy. We've still had so many players coming through, whether it be Dean Henderson and Rashford, Pogba back in the day, obviously Greenwood, Garnacho, Mainoo. One thing that hasn't been bad about this club in recent years is the academy. It's been really, really good, even with the 10 years of mess from the Glazers. And I think that's the one area that Ineos probably aren't super, super bothered about revamping as well. But good to see Fabrizio Romano confirmed the Zirkzee deal is done. And yeah, we have a gaffer who's keen on using youth. The good thing as well is we've got a manager in Ten Hag that's keen on using youth. We've got an assistant manager in Ruud van Nistelrooy that is all over using youth, and everything he did at BSV was very youth integrated. We've got Dan Ashworth coming in, who as soon as he went to Newcastle focused on the academy, and you saw Lewis Miley and Newcastle. Newcastle got some really good players that they got into their academy. Man United are already signing some of the best 15, 16-year-olds in football. Last summer we signed Ian Cheery and Harry Amos. This summer we're looking to complete some more signings, some winger from Crystal Palace to go on the left. Man United are advancing on signing some of the best young talents as well out there, so that's really exciting. Man United have been looking to sign some of the best 15-year-old, 14-year-olds from other English clubs. They've got a really good youth development pathway out there. They've got Jason Wilcox, who worked at Man City, that produced some amazing players. You just don't see them in the Man City squad because they never give them a chance. You've got Ashworth that focus on it, Ten Hag that focus on it. I think if I'm a youth player at Man United, it's exciting because Liverpool and Chelsea have come in and tried to poach a few of our youth players, and they didn't have any chance. They didn't have any chance. They didn't have any luck at trying to poach some of our youth players because those players were so keen on wanting to stay at United and be part of the United project. They're really sold in the United project, which is what I like to see as well. Erik Ten Hag has been very active with the academy, and we saw clear improvement as soon as he came in. Absolutely, and that's the one thing I like. Whether you like Ten Hag or not, whether you think he should stay or not, one thing he did is he was very actively involved in the academy. He knows those players, and I think he gives youth a chance as well. I think he knows what he likes. Even like for me, Forson, I don't think he should have been playing over Ahmad, but he really gave Forson a bit of a chance just to see. But I don't think he was good enough as well. Ineos are the team doing the deals. Rene Hake has also started as a coach. You're absolutely right. And you know what? Ineos are doing some good business. It feels like it's been a while since we've been positive about Manchester United and the transfer window. I'm normally sat here ranting that there's a player that I want Man United to sign. Oh, Arsenal sign them. Oh, Chelsea sign them. Yep, we've only got one deal done. No major outs. But there's a feeling that, okay, Casemiro is going to leave Manchester United this week. Wan-Bissaka could leave. Lindelof could leave. There's set to be advancements on that. Zirkzee is done. The Ligt's expected to be done. There's still some positive signs around Leny Yoro to Manchester United. There's still some positive signs around potential deals like Bramthwaite, Ugarte as well. Potentially someone like Xavi Simons as an option. Man United have looked at Dani Olmo. Man United are making moves. And one thing we've learned about Ineos is they can just make a move out of nowhere and get it done. There was a time where we were told Joshua Zirkzee won't happen. He's got an agreement with AC Milan. United are going to hijack the deal. United did hijack the deal. Man United, all of a sudden we all thought, well, there's no chance we're going for Desiree Doué. He's going to go Real Madrid. We put in a bid to show Ineos' ambition. Ineos are there. Ineos are willing to make moves. So I think it's quite exciting. And I think this window could have some exciting things. Fabrizio Romano said that Man United are moving pretty fast in the window. And he said there's a lot going on at United behind the scenes. And there could be some fast advancements and fast developments in terms to Man United and moves this summer, which is exciting as well. Mainoo will go up levels with a proper stable DM next to him. I mean, look how good Mainoo was for England, him linking up with Foden, because Rice did the dirty work and allowed him to go forward. And if you think of Zirkzee's IQ and ability to drop deep, he could do elements of what Foden did. I mean, Kobbie Mainoo, let him have the ball, let him go further forward up, because I think Kobbie Mainoo's biggest weakness would be defensive discipline. And I think Kobbie Mainoo could absolutely thrive. I think you're absolutely correct as well. Mainoo will struggle. United don't play good football, much like England. England haven't been playing good football. If anything, my opinion has been Kobbie Mainoo's done so well at England because he's one of the few players that's managed to perform in an unstable environment at United. Phil Foden's always been in a stable environment, a stable system. He's really struggled for England, bar the last game when Southgate basically changed the whole system to work to Phil Foden's strengths. He'd had 5 crap games before that. And it was Mainoo that unlocked Phil Foden because that was the first time in that first half versus the Netherlands that we played good football. England have played crap football like Man United last season, but Mainoo can play and shine in a crap footballing side. And he did that for England. He's done it for United. Imagine how good Mainoo could be in a good footballing side with good players around him, with good structure around him. He's 19. He's this good now. Imagine how good Kobbie Mainoo could be with the right midfield partner, the right structure about him as well. The sky's the limit for Mainoo. And as Alex said, it's unreal how unfazed Mainoo is by any challenge. Mainoo had the whole English media ready to, blame him for any mistake. Trent did that role. Didn't work. Conor Gallagher did the role that Mainoo's doing. Didn't work. The whole of the English media was ready there to pile on Kobbie Mainoo. We lost 1-0 to Iceland. There was 5 players that had a worse game than Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo didn't have a good game, but didn't have a bad game. He was very 6 out of 10. There was a good 5-6 players that had a worse game than Kobbie Mainoo. The media were ready to bang onto Kobbie Mainoo. Hate on Kobbie Mainoo. He's not ready. This guy scored the winner in an FA Cup final. This guy ended Rodri's unbeaten streak, and he might do that again for England. This guy, Trent couldn't do it. Gallagher couldn't do it. Experienced players. Kobbie Mainoo's come in, and at 19 years of age, he's barraged half his England teammates. The sky's the limit for Kobbie. He's got the ability. He's got the personality. He's got the mentality. He's humble. He's hardworking. He wasn't even playing in his best role last season. We mostly played him as a 6 because Casemiro was just, not good and was injured. Imagine Kobbie Mainoo in the right environment in a technical team that plays good football, how much better it could be. Imagine Kobbie Mainoo under Pep in that Man City team. I hate to say that, but imagine how good that is. It's incredible how talented Kobbie Mainoo is. He's honestly one of the most talented youngsters we've got. And as Man United fans, we should be blessed that there's a 19-year-old playing for England and smashing it. Let's hope he scores the winner in the final for England in Mainoo. as well. But yeah, bad eggs out, Glazer's backseat, and some high earners leaving. If we had the structure years back, we'd have been the best in the world. 100%. I've always said with United, it's not about sacking managers, it's about getting the right structure, because when you get the right structures, you can work on getting the bad eggs out. You have people that will make better recruitment decisions, and the environment will eventually change when the focus is, succeeding on a pitch over commercial success. So I agree with a lot of what you're saying as well. Mainoo's a generational talent, 100%. As well. But listen, people, I'm going to wrap up today's live show. We're talking about Leny Yoro, a bit of a boost there with Madrid looking at alternatives. Casemiro to Saudi set to advance. I have a feeling to keep an eye on the Xavi Simons deal. Desiree Doué, Bayern Munich put in a bid for him. De Ligt expected to be the next signing. Johnny Evans' new deal announced. Zirkzee announcement is pending now that deal is done. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.